Next Monday's Gallivan's Ferry Stump is not a holiday, but its founder is. What's it all about? You'll find out coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at Design It Retail Furniture Gallery on Highway 501, right in front of the new Hard Rock Park. We're focused on the Gallivan's Ferry Stump. And we're visiting with Russell Holliday, one of its organizers for next Monday's event. Russell,
yeah,
thanks
thank you so much.
Coming in a week out. A week out. Are you getting a little nervous?
We are getting a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
But we're always nervous a week before, but it always turns out great.
Oh, yeah.
But all the last minute details begin to overwhelm.
Absolutely. 132 years of them, and coming up on this year's event, the biennial event, to think about all those years. Of course, you've only been involved in a fraction of those, to think about 132 years, but you've been doing it for quite a long time.
I have been doing it a long time. You know, it used to be my father and my uncle did it, and then my father did it by himself because my uncle had passed away. And I took it for granted that this 80-year-old man, it must be easy to do this. And now we've got, a bunch of women, wonderful women, running it, and it's about to kill us. So we don't understand how these older men handled it.
Handled it at all.
I know it, that's right.
How exciting, Russell.
Well, we're real excited. It's a week off.
Right.
And it will start at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Okay.
With entertainment. We'll have Red White's family there playing, and they've been there forever and ever, and it's a bluegrass band.
Oh, great.
We'll have cloggers from Aner.
Up on the stage.
Yes.
Right.
We'll have square dancers. Former magistrate Kenny Ward, and we'll be square dancing, and Carrie Staples from Aner, and they'll be showing us some fancy steps. I'm just telling you the dancing part.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Shagging, we'll have some junior shag champions.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Great thinking. Yeah.
Great. And our person who will do the national anthem is Gabby Ray.
Oh, fantastic. The young lady, is she 13 or
9.
9. Have you seen her perform?
No.
Yeah, she's amazing. I saw her at the Miss Myrtle Beach pageant over the Carolina Opry this year. She's incredible.
I mean, I hear that
she's a local girl, yeah.
She's fabulous.
She can do anything.
But I heard that she was over at Hard Rock, I think, and put on a show, did like a 45-minute or something.
Wow.
And anyway, I think a lot of she has a big following.
She does, and a big voice.
A
for
big
a young
voice.
Lady. Yeah,
yes.
Bigger than either of us together.
Yes, and let me think. We'll have donkeys for people to come.
Now that's a tradition. Y'all have had donkeys out there for years.
Yes, we this year Andy, he's named for Andrew Jackson. His wife is pregnant, so she's not coming.
Oh, right. Listen to you, golly, throwing them out early at 7 a.m. You may not catch everybody with that.
I know it.
Russell, real quick, if folks need to get off to work now or get family off to school, what do they need to do? They just need to show up next Monday at 4:30?
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely free.
Right.
Okay, so you're going to have entertainment, free.
Right.
You're going to have, now the food does cost.
Okay.
We'll have chicken
but
bog.
very reasonable, yeah.
Oh, gosh, yes. Chicken bog cooked by the Aner Masons.
Right.
And it's always really good.
Oh, yeah.
And then we'll have homemade cakes made by the Pilot Club in Aner.
And no charge for parking.
Oh, no charge.
And it's rain or shine.
No, rain or shine. The parking, we'll have patrolmen there, and we'll have people directing parking. There'll be parking across the highway. This is on Highway 501, just as we are right now, Highway 501.
Exactly.
Just keep on going.
If you're in Myrtle Beach, just keep on going out.
Yeah, if you're already on 501. Right. But probably the easiest way would be to take 22 all the way to 501.
Right.
Take a right going towards Aner, go through Aner, and about 3 miles past Aner is Gallivan's Ferry.
Before you get to the Little Petey River.
Right, before you, and we'll have people parking in the pecan orchard, the large pecan orchard, and across the street. And people need to get there and hobnob, because the Gallivan's Ferry store, which has been, around as long.
And redone recently.
Has been redone.
Yes.
And we still, we've got people cooking, we've got, sausage roll-ups, and we redid the inside of the store with old wood that had come down during one of the hurricanes.
Is that right?
I mean, it's
Now
great.
that's also where your offices are.
Yes, yes.
The family office, and otherwise, was it Monroe Management? Excuse
Monroe
me, I
Management,
hadn't-
yes,
Monroe
yes.
Management, and your sister, and she's out there as well.
Yeah, and people need to come because the old original post office is there.
Is that right? You know, I saw that either your grandfather or your great-grandfather had been the postmaster
All
at
of
one
them,
time.
all
Is
of
that
them.
right?
I mean,
You've gone
great-grandfather,
Uh-huh.
great-grandmother,
She
grandfather.
was the postmaster as well, the
Yeah,
great-grandmother?
yes.
Wow, well, that's a sign.
Then grandmother, then my father,
Right,
then his secretary, actually.
right.
And so then now it's, unfortunately, I don't mean this in a bad way, but unfortunately it's moved to Aner. So it's Aner Gallivant's Ferry. I don't mean it in a bad way.
No, no, of course.
We
yes.
just miss it in the
Actually,
store.
we've got an Aner native with us this Thursday. Chief Deputy Paul Butler will be with us, who is with the Sheriff's Department as the Chief Deputy of the Sheriff's Department, and on Friday is celebrating 20 years of law enforcement. At one time, he was the youngest police chief there in the town of Aner in the,
Oh, wow.
in the state of South Carolina. Great guy.
Well, I'm sure he'll be
If
at
you'll
the
tune in
stump.
this Thursday, he will be, and his brother has been with the South Carolina Highway Patrol for, I believe, 21 years. Probably somebody who may be out there as well helping to direct traffic.
Well, we could not do it without them.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because the amount of traffic that we've got coming,
Right.
then you've got regular 501 traffic. So we are so thankful for their help.
Yes.
And we give them chicken bog tickets, and
That's someone who
which
doesn't
is a
pay for
very
chicken bog.
small,
Yeah,
a very
yeah.
small thank you, but
Right.
because their assistance is invaluable.
Absolutely, yes. And particularly some of the dignitaries that y'all have coming in, as well as locals far and wide. I mean, that's when the word local really expands to a very large area throughout the state,
Yeah,
really,
well,
throughout the Carolinas.
Ways, I don't know if people don't know what a stump speaking is. You know,
fill
a
us in.
stump
Okay.
speaking, it began before longer than 132 years ago.
Okay.
And that's when people, when they wanted to be heard, cut down a tree, got up on a stump,
Right.
you know, so they could be above the
little
crowd.
higher, right,
Okay.
right.
So we have actually got a flyer from 132 years ago asking people to come to the Gallivant's Ferry stump speaking.
Yes.
And that was the year that General Wade Hampton came through on horseback
Right.
and was running for governor. And he won his bid for governor.
1876, was it?
1876.
Yeah. Wow.
And so then it was probably on a flatbed truck. It probably wasn't on a stump. But we now have it on the porch of the PD Farm store. But we have an old stump that we carved out as part of the podium.
And that stands in front of folks, or sits in front of folks.
Exactly, right.
Yes,
So
yes.
they're standing behind the stump and speaking.
Well, I was fascinated to see, Russell, that over the years there were up to 12 or 13 events that happened leading up to, and the stump was always the first.
It was always the first.
And
It
then
was always on a
Saturday,
Monday.
right before the election, it would be held there in Conway, in the
That's
county
right.
seat.
That's
which was
right.
fascinating.
Yeah. And you know, I'm sorry that they don't do this.
Still do it.
You know,
Right.
anymore. We are the last remaining continuously held stump speaking.
Right.
And when TV came, you know, it became more efficient
Sure.
for the politicians to be on TV and say,
Go
oh,
ahead
I
and
can
do
hit a lot
debates,
more people.
Sure,
You know.
statewide, right.
But the opportunity that we still allow to have people come there and as my father said, look at a politician eyeball to eyeball and read his mood or read her, you know, get her attention and say, what do you think about this? A specific question that you want to ask.
Mm-hmm.
And we're giving them that forum, and we're allowing, by having all this entertainment, we attract young people
Oh, yeah.
that
sure.
maybe they haven't been able to vote yet. Maybe
Right.
this is their first year voting.
Sure.
And they don't want to just say, okay, I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican because my mama or my daddy, that's what they are.
Mm-hmm.
They can go there and listen to these candidates and make up their own mind. And maybe they'll find out that that particular party that's different than the one that their parents are
Right, right.
might think exactly like they do, but they've never questioned them or asked them. I think that if we ask Republicans and Democrats some of the same questions, you'll find that that old image of what that person is not what they are today. As you know, those lines have blurred.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, definitely.
Well, in a lot of ways, the moderates of both sides are a lot closer together.
Right, right. Absolutely. And of course, you will see Folks, I know the answer, but I want to make sure you make it clear to folks there will be a lot of Republicans there. They'll be fanning the crowd. Will they be speaking next Monday?
Yeah, no, they will not, because we hold to tradition.
Right.
This is, the Gallivan's Ferry Stump Speaking happens to be a local legacy of South Carolina.
Right.
It is at the Library of Congress.
Absolutely. I was about to say, and I love that, and folks can go online and check it out at the Library of Congress. They can go online to gallivansferrystump.com and see the links to
and
the Library
old
of
photos.
Congress.
I mean,
Absolutely.
ancient photos and old write-ups. So tradition is only Democrats are allowed to speak on the podium.
On the podium.
But everybody's invited, Democrats, Republicans, Independents.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll all be in the crowd.
Yes.
Because as I tell the people on the podium, it is more important what you're saying in that crowd than what you're saying up there on the platform. Because it's the face-to-face politics that is more important. It's the hobnobbing.
And not to take anything away from TV, which we're doing right now, or newspapers, but particularly TV, where that is the way to reach the most folks. But at the same time, you're not eyeball to eyeball, as your father used to say, and they're not out wearing makeup when they're with you out at the stump. You're seeing them face to face. You say you're seeing the sun coming in, you're seeing them sweat, you're seeing all the things you may not see when you see them on TV.
And you can ask them questions. You know, like you might disagree with something that they say on TV. And say, God, I'd really like to ask him a little bit more about that.
Yeah, yeah.
So they get that opportunity, and the politicians are great about that. I mean, they're not running off and saying, I ain't got time right now. Because they do have time. And it will, you know, we're honoring this year Congressman Spratt and Congressman Clyburn.
Jim Clyburn and John Spratt.
Yes.
Very important.
They are very important.
Two amazing men that have done a lot. Of course, we think about and celebrate them with the amazing the Congressional Black Caucus Institutes, helping to highlight by having the Democratic debates here in Myrtle Beach.
That's right.
Just literally 3 months ago. And of course, to follow up on that with a big event like this, to thank and again honor Jim Clyburn's wonderful.
Well, you know, Gallivan's Ferry is a very small place. You know, we only have a blinking light.
And that's a great thing that the Library of Congress highlights, that in a community, as you say, when it's all about TV and about newspapers and radio, that you get to a community with no schools, the blinking light there.
That's right.
Obviously,
and that's a new addition. You know,
and the new
But we're honoring. We have never specifically honored congressmen before, or anybody, except for Hollings when he retired 4 years ago.
4 years ago, yeah.
And then, of course, we had Joe Biden 2 years ago, but he was our keynote speaker. But these people, we're honoring them for their service. And so we're going to give them the key to the city that will turn off the blinking light.
Oh, no. Wow. A big day.
No, they can turn it on and off,
yes.
you know.
That
so
is tremendous.
It'll be the first time.
You know, think back, Russell. Let's talk for a minute. I know we're a week away, and obviously, but as you think back to your father, even before that, to your uncle, what stuff you can imagine, and you may be able to even imagine your grandfather, I'm not sure, but your father and uncle, as they were working out, or even more importantly, or more recently, the last 10 years as your dad prior to his death, what were some of the things they were doing a week out? What were some of the things, were they telling you and Christy or Billy and your cousins things to do to get ready for next Monday? We're a week away. We got to make it happen.
Okay,
can you remember? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were making phone calls, confirming that all the candidats are going to be there.
Right, good.
Okay.
So you're doing that now.
We're
this
doing
week
that
you're
now.
Pounding the call.
We've got people helping us clean up.
Right.
You know, get spick and span. It's like spring cleaning.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
so,
yeah.
We're double checking with the Highway Patrol, making sure everything's on go there.
Sure.
We're alerting the media.
Right.
One of the things that I'm doing here is getting the word out.
Absolutely.
So all that, because a lot of times people don't plan, you know, a month ahead of time.
Or even a week ahead of time.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
So we're reminding everybody that a week from today at 4:30 for them to come out. The speaking will begin exactly at 6.
On the nose, yes.
And Morgan Martin, our local wonderful attorney, will be our MC.
Oh, good. I know one of his partners, Tommy Britton's done that many times in the past.
Tommy Britton says he's only giving it up temporarily. He unfortunately had a conflict.
Right.
So he says his partner can have it temporarily, but Morgan says if he does a really great job, he might not let Tommy come back.
Tommy, I'm sure, will fight for that. That's right. And George Hearn, their other partner, would probably be a pretty good
That's
one up
right,
on
that's
the
right.
podium as well. I'm sure he'd like to get a temporary day in there.
Yeah, and both of them, Tommy did a great job.
Right.
I know that Morgan will do a great job because you've got to have this running on time.
Oh, yeah.
As you know, politicians sometimes can speak longer than, so we've got to, one of the things that my father would do, would sit at the table and he would have a list of all the candidates and how many, he had it down to a science. Okay, I'll give this person 2 minutes. I'll give this person 3 minutes. This will be 5 minutes, you know, and he does it because he doesn't want it to go too late.
Sure.
He'd like to get everybody out by around 9.
So your father had been the MC in past years, or did he always still get somebody like a Tommy or otherwise to help?
No, he, it was, let's see, who did we have? We had Bill Davis, I believe, was our MC.
Great, good.
Yeah, and Daddy's voice had gotten bad as he got older.
Sure.
But I think they have an outside person.
It's a great idea, absolutely.
Especially a person, a lawyer that has such a wonderful booming voice.
Anyway, yes.
But now, part of our celebration of honoring the 2 congressmen, we are asking former congresspeople from South Carolina to come. So I know that Robin Talon is coming from Florence.
One of them will be with us tomorrow to highlight the stump
John
as well.
Jenrette.
Absolutely.
Liz Patterson has been invited. We do not know yet.
Good.
Butler Derrick has been invited. We do not. I think that he is going to be able to come.
Right.
There's a fellow named Ken Holland in the upstate.
Okay.
So
These are all Democratic congressmen that are invited, or
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Still just because they have that opportunity to address the crowd from the stage.
That's right. That's right.
That's great, and to help highlight those 2 men.
And it's not just national politics. You know, stumping is for all levels. So. So the county council candidates will be there.
Sure.
The school board candidates will be there. Oh, by the way, we will have the Jim Rex.
Fantastic. Oh,
Head of
great. The
Education.
superintendent of education will be in town next Monday. That's a reason for folks to get out to see Jim Clyburn, John Spratt, and Jim Rex.
And go and be able to, you know, if you've been saying, you know, I don't like the way my school, well, what better ear?
Absolutely.
Than to talk to Jim Rex.
The superintendent of education himself. That is wonderful.
Isn't that great?
You'd had Inez Tenenbaum out there.
Inez will be here.
2 years ago. And obviously the thrill there for folks who attended 2 years ago to hear the impassioned pleas of Fritz Hollings as he was introducing Joe Biden, and a real emotional talk there. And of course their connection, highlighting Joe's first term in the U.S. Senate, and how Senator Hollings had really helped encourage him to stick it out after his wife was tragically killed. It was a powerful day.
That is a powerful story.
Moving day for everyone.
Yeah.
I sure hope.
Because, well, Senator Biden was ready to quit, to be home with the children that remained.
Absolutely. And Senator Hollings and Pete, really pushed hard to have him stick it out and actually take seat. And of course he did, and did a tremendous job, even leading up to 2 years ago. The biennial event, it is always every 2 years.
Absolutely, every 2 years. That's right.
Right.
And I'll just tell you, I actually talked to Senator Biden's office this week.
Yeah.
And I told him, listen, now I know y'all were here 2 years ago, but if you want to come and help us honor Clyburn and Spratt, we would love to have you.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not out of the question.
Oh, good, great. He's got a week to make that decision. He could even make it the last day, the day of.
You know that politicians do not always make their plans way ahead of time. It could be the day of. That's right.
Exactly. How exciting. There could be some other big names. I was fascinated to see that President Clinton, or then running for office, Clinton and Gore, sent somebody, a representative for them, someone to help nominate those two, or at least President Clinton years ago, which was exciting to see.
We'll have surrogates for the existing candidates that are running right now. There will be somebody speaking for Hillary Clinton. There will be somebody speaking for Obama. I do not know who those people will be right now. Since our primary is over, they're all busy.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Elsewhere.
That's right.
As we all know.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And of course, just last week, a very exciting vote there in North Carolina, in our brother state or sister state, our other Carolina state, and a lot happening over the last, leading up to next week. It's very, very exciting.
Well, it really is. I mean, you know, it's an unusual year because it's very unusual to have a woman as one candidate and a
Right.
black as another. It has never been done before. It's
Right.
possible
Right.
whoever will win.
Absolutely. We've got 5 minutes, and speaking of that, we've just a week. Of course, so much has to happen. Tell us who else is really involved. What other family members are involved? Of course, you and your sister, and then your 3 cousins
Right.
are immediately
Right.
involved. I know Sally Howard year after year, and of course, we haven't promoted a phone number. If folks have questions that we may not have answered, there's a couple of good phone numbers. I saw one for your
Yes.
sister and one for Sally Howard.
Well, the number, the number
or is
at
there
our
a number
office,
at the office?
the number at
Great,
the office
great.
is 843
Right.
358
358
3252.
3252.
And
okay.
that was the number we gave for my sister, but
Good.
anybody there should be able to answer the question or can get to one of us.
Great, great. 358 3252. That's
Yes.
fantastic. And of course, they can go online to galvansburystump.com to learn more about it. But it is a rain or shine event.
Absolutely. It's Sally Howard, and let me give you her phone
Sure,
number,
sure.
is 843-455-1936.
1936. And Sally is helping bring the
She
two
is the
families
coordinator.
together. Good, great.
Coordinator between the two families,
Right.
Which is great to have a central coordinator.
Mm-hmm,
So my sister and I and my 3 cousins, who are Billy Holliday, Judson Holliday,
Right.
and Betty Holliday McLeod, we are the 4th generation that have put on this stump speaking. And we have got the 5th generation that are learning.
Good. Great.
My sister's children and my cousin's children, are all learning and will continue it on, because it is not funded by the Democratic Party.
Right.
It is not funded by any entity. It is put on by the Holliday family as a service.
Great. And it shows. I mean, it's a magnificent event in a service capacity, and surely to think about the 5th generation and then the 6th, 7th, and 8th generations. What do you think it is for attendees that want them to, really encourage them to keep coming back? You see many of the same folks, but a lot of new faces year after year. You've had upwards of 5,000 folks at a time out there.
Did.
I mean, amazing crowds out there, and the crowds change every other year, obviously. But what do you think gets attendees keep coming back, Russell?
I think it's the fun. There's nothing else like it. It's the festival atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's the being able to see people from all over the state that maybe they haven't seen since last year.
Right.
It's old-timey politicking
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
that just doesn't exist any longer.
And of course, the holidays, for the most part, I think maybe your father, your uncle, or maybe your grandfather had served in the state house at one time.
He was a senator.
Okay.
He was a state senator.
Your dad or your uncle? Yeah.
Excuse me, my grandfather.
Your grandfather, okay.
George Judson
any
Holliday.
Of the others, either your uncle or dad, who
No.
thought about that, or they like being behind the scenes
They
men like
they
their
were
daughters? Yeah.
they were asked,
Right.
and my father said that he'd much rather be in the background.
Yeah.
He had all the political friends,
Right.
but he really liked being in the background.
Right.
And we liked him being in the background with us. Growing up, we would not have seen him as much
Oh, yeah.
if he had gone off.
Well, the event, of course, he was able to bring it into the millennium in 2000, and then I think I saw reading at the Library of Congress site that only
Yeah.
4 months later he passed away, so he was able to celebrate.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
I would have regretted if he hadn't gotten to see that. He loved it. He lived and breathed. People said that if John Monroe Holliday was an inveterate letter writer, and he would write them, call them, and say, okay, if you are not at the Gallivan's Ferry stump speaking, it is the kiss of death. You will not get elected.
Yeah.
Okay, so Phil later, one year, did not make it because of plane trouble,
Right.
and he didn't get elected.
No.
So the myth continues.
Oh, I love it. I love it. We will talk to former Congressman Jen Redd about that tomorrow, and of course some of the great stories of other folks that have attended. But as you think about it for you, Russell, and of course seeing the 5th generation coming on board now, and really they're monitoring those itineraries, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5
That's
minutes,
right.
and really thinking it through. Something that you're thinking about, that you're really excited about, any of the speakers that you really want to hear next Monday?
I really want to hear Jim Clyburn. He is a great speaker. I really want to hear John Spratt. He is brilliant. He is the budget guru, which sounds very boring, but he can actually make it interesting.
No, very definitely.
Jim Rex, to find out what's going on. We've got candidates that are running for Congress
Right.
that will be there. I'm fascinated to listen to them. I'm interested in the school board or county council.
Sure.
Probably more than listening to their speeches, more on a one-to-one basis.
Right. Seeing them work the crowd.
Yes, yes, to see how they answer the questions, and I think they'll all do really well.
We'll see you next Monday, Russell. Sorry we've run out of time.
Oh my! I got so much more to say.
I know. I'll try to do it in the wrap here. Thanks so much.
All right, okay.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Russell Holliday, the Gallivan's Ferry Stump, coming up next. This biennial event, at least 132 years old, draws people from all over the South to a place called Gallivan's Ferry. Think about that. No industry, no Main Street, just that blinking light there on Highway 501. A place with a general store and a gas station. For some reason, people come. They keep coming every other year. They keep coming. You can be a part of that. Next Monday, the 12th, May 12th, a big celebration day to honor two amazing men. So many folks will be there. Jim Clyburn and John Spratt, two amazing congressmen that are working every day. You can be a part of that. You can be with these folks face to face. You heard Russell talk about it. She wants to see the superintendent of education. She wants to see the local school board members, the folks running for county council or state senator, state house. It's a great opportunity to be out there. The entertainment starting at 4:30. It's a rain or shine event. Russell said it off camera. There's enough room in the old general store to make it a celebration, rain or shine. But folks will be out there. They're coming from far and wide. Take the time to get out there. Go online to gallivansferrystump.com to learn more, or pick up the phone, 843-358-3252. The entertainment at 4:30, the official event kicking off at 6 p.m. as the fourth generation is handing off to the fifth generation, getting ready for that sixth generation. You can be a part of it. Russell Holliday, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you so much.